All right, we're gonna do a video analysis here on Gavyn. We're gonna compare him to Spencer Strider to see where he can improve. So we got both of them in their leg lift here. We got Gavyn leading with the hip pretty well. Let's compare it to Spencer. All right, so what I like here about Spencer is his hips are closed right here. Gavyn's front leg, it looks like he's gonna reach forward and open up that hip, but we'll see. So let's continue on. So now as we get in this position here, this is a big difference, right? So both of their eyes are on target, which is great. If we take a look at the front leg of Spencer Strider, he's still closed. His arm is also straight down by his pocket. Gavyn's arm is going straight behind him, which is going to put more stress on that arm and sacrifice some velocity. The back legs both look good, both locked and loaded, ready to go. All right, his front leg, Gavyn's front leg up front, is still pretty closed, which is great. Now, continuing on, we get Gavyn up into this position right before front foot strike. Compared to Spencer Strider, what you can see is Gavyn's arm is already coming up to that throwing position, so he's not getting a lot of core involvement. Whereas Spencer down below, his arm is here, so he's still bringing it up. His shoulders are facing third base, and his hips are starting to open because his back knee is coming down to rotate those hips. So let's continue. So now as we get into front foot strike for Gavyn, his foot is flush on the ground compared to Spencer Strider. You can see a difference here. All right, so Gavyn's arm is pretty high. We're a little bit inside 90, not too crazy, but you can see his shoulders and his hips are going in the same direction. So that means he's not getting much core involvement. Compared to down below, if you look at Spencer, his hips are starting to open and his shoulders are still back because his arm is coming up to the throwing position. So he is getting a lot more core torque here compared to Gavyn up top. Right, so Gavyn, you're definitely losing some velocity there. So now, as you can see down below, right, as he hits front foot strike, you see that upper body really rotate, comes up to that good throwing position and rotates with anchored front side. So let's compare it to Gavyn up top. So you come down, boom, front foot strike, and you're getting a little bit of arm drag right here, right? Can you see how your elbow is dragging across? Your elbow's literally going this way, following that line, right? So you're not getting a lot of core action. You're getting a lot of arm drag right here, which is going to put some negative stress on that area, and you're sacrificing velocity. Compared to Strider down below, you can see that his arm goes up, and then it's in layback here, and then he launches forward there. This is the position we want to get in, right? So as we get our back hip firing stronger, you can see what happens on that front leg as well. He locks out that front leg as the hips launch forward, and he gets strong ball release out front. So Gavyn, when you come through, you're getting a little bit of hip movement, but not as much as you should be, right? So you're not going to be getting that strong locked out leg. You kind of just fall forward, and your finish ends up here. If you look at the difference in the finishes, right? Spencer's much more powerful with that locked out front leg, and he's in this position where he's closer to home plate, getting a lot more energy through the baseball. You, on the other hand, are standing up a lot taller. Your front leg is not locked out because you didn't produce enough energy on the back end, and your extension is not where it needs to be. So, with all that being said, you're going to say, what are the next steps? So the next steps would be continue to work on your hip mobility, so that way you can be more dynamic with your hip movement. The biggest thing I want you to focus on, though, is your arm path, right? So continue to do the arm path drills I've given you, where you come out of the glove. If you take a look down below, you'll see Spencer comes out of the glove, down to the pocket. Then he comes down to the pocket, comes forward, drives the elbow up, ends up in that good 90-degree angle. And then when his trunk goes forward, he's in layback here, and then launch forward. What you're doing up above is you're coming out of the glove and you're going this way behind the back. So now your arm is getting straight while your body's going forward. So now we got everything going in two directions, and then you try to quickly bring that arm up closer to your head. And then by doing that, you're sacrificing a lot of midsection torque, and you're slinging it across your body with some arm drag. Right, so continue to trust the process, work on the arm path. When you're doing the med ball drills, I want you to really focus on sitting in that back leg and firing this knee down to fire that hip open, like you see here. If you watch him, boom. See how that knee comes down and he fires that hip open? Let me know if you have any questions.